Hey, Jordan here with Momentum Property Solutions. If you're planning on selling your house anytime soon, the biggest question on your mind is probably how much is it worth? Well, the truth is, it's really worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it. You can have an appraiser look at it, you can get an estimation from an agent, but in reality, all those are opinions and estimations. Really, you won't know until you have an offer in hand and you're at the closing table. But you can estimate what this is going to be by running comparable sales. That's the best way to do it. That's what everyone in the industry uses. And so I'm going to show you in this video how you can run comparable sales to see and estimate what someone's going to be willing to pay for your house. So let's jump over here and I'm going to show you an example on a house we've actually just renovated and sold. Let's see. So this guy right here, we actually just renovated and sold this house. So I'm going to run an example on this one and show you what this process looked like, and then you can copy it to your house. And the assumption I'm making here is that your house is in fixed up condition and, at the same level of finish as the other houses, the other comparable sales that we look at. So if you need help doing that, take a look at some of our previous videos or reach out to us and schedule a consultation and we can look at working together to get your house fixed up. So let's jump over here. So obviously, like we just sold this one recently. It was back in June. So Zillow is notorious, like the pictures get taken down pretty much immediately when a house sells there. So all you can see is this front picture. So I'll show you a trick to be able to look at the pictures of houses that have sold. So just go over to Google and type in the address that you're wanting to look at. And either on realtor.com or Redfin. Redfin is my go-to, but usually these two, Realtor and Redfin, are the best for keeping up the pictures longer. So I'll just kind of show you what it looked like. So this was a complete cosmetic renovation, just real quick. So obviously the outside is just nice and neat and tidy. And let's see. Put granite countertops, painted the kitchen or the kitchen cabinets, painted all the walls, laid new flooring everywhere, stainless steel appliances. We staged it lightly, nothing too crazy, but did put some furniture in here. New light fixtures everywhere, flooring everywhere. So this is LVP in the kitchen, painted the fireplace, smoothed the popcorn ceilings, painted all the trim and doors and everything, light fixtures everywhere. New countertops in the bathroom too, new flooring there, just painted everything. Painted the cabinets, same thing in the hall bath. And yeah, that's just a cosmetic rehab. So yeah, you kind of see like this when we're calculating the value here, the term is ARV, after repair value. That's like that's the circles that like agents and real estate investors and everybody, that's the term they use, is ARV, after repair value. Basically that's the maximum value your house is going to be worth in market ready condition. Like it's been renovated and updated to match the other houses on the market that have been selling. So that's what we're going to be calculating here. So let's basically to run comps, you're going to need to find a few houses in your neighborhood or in your area that have sold recently, that and then we can calculate price per square foot and all that stuff. And I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to show you in Zillow because it's free. Everybody can get on Zillow. For me personally, I use a software usually called REI Pro or PropStream, but those are paid subscriptions, so no need to do that. You can do it on Zillow, and that's where I'm going to show you today. So let's jump over here back to Zillow. So first thing, just putting in your address because it'll kind of locate your area, and then exit out of that. And so now, obviously there's the house there that we're treating as our subject property. And so zoom out a little bit, and then you're going to need to change the filter most likely to sold. Hit apply. And over on more, I'm going to change it a little bit more too. So ideally, you're going to want to use sold in last 6 months, especially as the market's changing. You don't want to be going back too far. Um, in this case, I've already kind of looked at it. And just because I know this area a little bit better, I'm willing to go back a little bit further. Um, but ideally, you'd only want to go back 6 months because, obviously, so we're shooting this in July 2023. Um, Back in May of last year, 2022, is kind of where we started to see the market change a good bit. That's when the interest rates really started taking effect and everything. So we it started getting a little bit harder to sell houses. But in this case, I think for this illustration, these comps are definitely usable, especially because I know what the house sold for. So, but in your case, definitely try and give more weight to the ones that have sold more recently. And just to kind of give you an idea of what a comp is, because that's obviously important to know what you should be looking for. So let's just I'm gonna give you a bullet list here. So what is a comp? So similar in um, area. So if you're in a neighborhood, really you want to stick to your neighborhood. It can be a little bit trickier when you're rural, so you may have to go a little further, but you want to find houses that are, I mean, ideally in your same area, in your same neighborhood. Um, Really, what you care about is similar, like build type. So, like if you, let's see, like if you have a single story ranch, you most likely don't want to be comparing that to mobile homes or um, or just anything like that. You want to be comparing it to houses that are very similar in build type and look, similar in feel to yours, similar in age, and that's a big thing. Like obviously, like this house was built in the 90s, so and the good thing about looking in your neighborhood, a lot of times all the houses were built around the same time, so you don't really run into that problem. Um, but a lot of times a house that was built in the 50s and 60s is not going to be a good comp for one that was built in the 2000s. Similar in size. So a good rule of thumb is plus or minus 10% on the square footage. You can go a little bit about outside of that if you need to, but you don't want to be using, if your house is 1,500 square feet, you don't want to be using a 3,000 square foot house as a comp. Like it just doesn't really apply usually. Um, Same like, well, just same style, which kind of goes with build type, but just throw that in there. Same finishes, and this is a big one. And so obviously when you go through and look at comps, you want to look at ones that are similar in um, renovation style or same level of updates and everything. And this can help you on the front end too before you even renovate your house because you can see like what you're going to need to do to match up with the comps that have recently sold. Um, so let's see. And then, oops, so also, sold, I'm just going to say sold recently because obviously that's, um, a little bit vague. So like I said earlier, ideally in the last 6 months, if you just can't find anything, you can go back a little further, but obviously the further back you go, the less accurate it's going to be. So you got to, obviously give those maybe less weight than the ones that are more recent. And so, I mean, and if you even if you find like one or two that are like really recent and really relevant to your situation, to your house, like it's very similar, I mean, that can help you pinpoint it. So, I mean, that can definitely be useful. Um, Ideally, you want to find maybe three or four That's kind of my rule of thumb usually. Um, but uh, but yeah, obviously, if you can only find one or two, but they're really relevant, then you can definitely use that. So let's see. One thing I forgot to mention here is like number of beds and baths. So that's obviously, I mean, it kind of goes with size, but sometimes you'll have a 2,000 square foot house that's, four beds, two and a half baths, and the other one's like a 3-2. So, obviously that can play into how much someone's willing to pay for their house. So I think that pretty much covers it there. So, but anyway, you're just looking for similar houses. That's really what it comes down to, and houses that have sold recently. So let's jump back over here and take a look. So I I've got this filter down. So our house was 1830 square feet. So I just put it 1500 to 2250. Like you can't really get too granular with Zillow. So you can only pick like the windows that they've got. So I made it pretty broad. Um, and then the only other thing is just sold in last. And here I put 12 months. So to apply there. So let's just jump through these. I can't remember if I looked at this one. So I'm just going to, so this one's right on the corner. Okay, so it was sold a little bit later than some of the other ones. So I'm going to leave that off for now. Um, I'm just curious though. Let me run this real quick. 39. So this will give you kind of help you see what we're going to do in the future. So I take the sold price and divide that by the square footage. So a little bit of math here, but I'll walk you through that. So that's pretty close to the price per square foot that most of the other ones we're looking at. So that's good. But I'm leaving it off for this example, but you could include this one. Um, it's just a little bit further back than some of the other ones. I think the furthest back I went here was like November or December of 2022. So about 8 months or so. Um, all right. So first one right here is 102 Kings Ridge Drive. So it's 1907 square feet. So what we're going to do is, and let me just jump over here, might as well. And let's just take a look at some pictures. And I'm doing this on the fly, so I'm going to be surprised by the pictures as much as you are. So I don't know what to expect. I have done it in the past, though. It's just been a long time. Because when we were listing this house, I was looking around. Oh, Redfin doesn't have anything. Let's jump over to realtor.com. There we go. Okay. A little slow. A lot of exterior pictures. Tell you what, let's just click on this. It should open it up. There we go. Okay. So, I mean, obviously it is updated. I mean, it's not exactly the same. Oh, they even put what the updates were. Let's see. So yeah, obviously, I mean, I would say our kitchen's definitely nicer for most people's taste, um, but it's not bad. Obviously, I mean, got granite, backsplash, stainless steel appliances. Looks like it's been painted recently. Tile, sunroom. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously like this is a good comp. I mean, it's not you're not going to find everything's going to be nothing's going to be exactly the same, right? Unless you get really lucky. But it's you kind of take what you can get. Hardwood floors, that's cool. Got that nice stone surround there. So anyway, sorry. that's definitely a good one to use. So let's take this. So just gonna pop them in here. That out of there. So comp one, oops, um, sold for 310, oops, 310. And then I'm going to divide that by the square footage. I think it was 1907, if I remember right. Yeah, 1907 equals, oops, so 162 point, just round it up, 163 per square foot. So this is like, we're calculating the price per square foot on every house that we look at. And you're probably familiar with that. You probably heard people say, price per square foot. So, um, but that's how you do it. You just literally, you divide the sold price by the square footage. So let's jump to our next one. And I'm not going to go through the pictures on all of them, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. So this was another one that I found. So this one was sold in November. So I think this is as far back as I went. So this one sold for 284.9, 284.9 divided by 1686. So 160, basically 169. So let's just write that down. 284.9 comp 2, 284.9 divided by, what was that? 1686 equals 169 per square foot. Next one. I'm not going to include this one. I think it was sold a little bit further back too. And then this one was the lowest, and like I would say this one's probably the furthest away um from the condition. I think this one probably it needed some updates because I remember looking at the pictures when we were listing ours. So, but I'm going to include it just because it was sold recently, May 2023, so really close to when we sold this one. So, let's just look at the pictures on this one really quick. So, 224 aerial, oops, aerial. I want to say this one was kind of a little bit of a fixer-upper. I mean, I don't think it was like bad or anything, but man, well, it's okay. Yeah, it's still got the laminate countertops and stuff, and painted cabinets, but yeah. And a lot of times pictures can make it look a little nicer too. I mean, even like the pictures aren't like professional pictures either, so it's like, they weren't really trying to show it. Yeah, I mean, obviously the carpet probably needed to be replaced and stuff, so um, one light bulb, outdated green countertops. So, I mean, it's not bad, obviously, but not completely updated or anything. So, obviously, take that with a grain of salt. But I'm going to include it just to have it. Um, so anyway, let's see. So that comp 3 was, I've already forgotten, two 281, and it was 2074. 281 divided by, I think it was 2074. Yep. Divided by 2074 divided by 2074. So yeah, I mean, obviously this one's lower in price per square foot. So 135. So you could always throw that one out. And a lot of times I will, and I may actually do that here. Um, I'll throw out the outliers because as you do this, you'll kind of find like a little band that most of them fall into. They might all be in like the 160 to 170 range or something like that. And then you get one that's like 135. It's like, okay, you can probably ignore that one because it's going to throw the average off because that's what we're going to do. We're going to calculate the average in a minute. So last one I was going to do was let's see. I think it's this one. Yeah. This was honestly probably the best comp out of all of them. So yeah, this one it sold for 300. Um, it was pretty good on the inside too. So, and it was sold very recently, May 2023. So, um, comp for 300 divided by 1807 gives us 166. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, okay, you're definitely seeing like, and to be honest, like I would throw this out because it's not really like you're seeing the trend here, 163, 169, 166. I'm gonna throw that out. So we're left with three. Let's see. So next, so basically all we want to do is calculate the average price per square foot. So all it is, average price per square foot equals, oops. So I'm just going to do, so all you're going to do is add up all of your price per square foot that you calculated. So 163 plus 169 plus 166. Remember, I'm throwing this one out, so I'm not keeping it. And then just divide it by the total number of comps that you're using. So in this case, we have three. If you're using four, if we would have used all four of these, and the 135 would have been up here, then I would have changed this number to four. So you just divide it by the total number that you're looking at. Um, so basically, divide it by the total number of ones that you put up here on the top. So in our case, we've got 163 plus, well, what is that not? Okay. Somehow I got popped over to that. 163. Let's just start over. 163 plus 169 plus 166 divided by 3. So you mathematicians out there, you could have told me what that was before I even pulled out the calculator. But anyway, but that's, obviously it's not going to come out that clean every time. So you can pop that in your calculator, add them all up, divide it by the total number. So it's 166 per square foot. Okay, so now all we do, say, I'm going to say estimated value. You could call it ARV, whatever you want to call it, but basically just the estimated, the estimated amount that your house will likely sell for, because every every agent, every buyer's agent that comes through that's how they're gonna, look and see what your house, what their buyer should offer on your house. This is like real estate 101 for estimating the value. So obviously if you like go way outside of this, then people are going to think you're crazy. So and So ultimately, this is likely where your house is going to sell, unless there's some outstanding reason why it shouldn't. So um, now all we do is um, take this value here, this average price per square foot, and multiply it by the square footage of your house. So in our case, it's 166. Oops, 166 times, I think it was 1830, if I remember right. 1830. Yep. Times 1830. So for us, that is times 1830, 303, 780. 303, 780. So pretty dang close to what we ended up selling it for. I mean, we're, within a few $1,000s, like it ebbs and flows. And to be honest, like because like a little bit later in the market, it kind of changed a little bit. So, you know, if we would have sold back a couple months earlier when the other ones did, we probably would have gotten a few more thousand or maybe a little bit more. That's just how real estate goes sometimes. But if you can pinpoint it that close, you're going to be doing pretty good. And so, and honestly, like when you go to list your house, your agent's going to help you with this. But I would do this beforehand for multiple reasons. So let's see, I'm going to stop sharing for multiple reasons. Because first, it'll help you vet agents to know which ones know what they're talking about. Because a lot of agents will just tell you whatever you want to hear, and they'll tell you. In this case, they'd say, "Hey, yeah, I think we can sell this house for 350, or we can list it. We can list it for 350, knowing good and well that it's not going to sell for that, or they at least either they know it's not going to sell for that, or they don't know what they're talking about. Either way, that's probably not the agent you want to be working with. You want to be working with somebody that is realistic. Obviously, you want to push it as much as you can and get as much for it as you can, but you've got to be realistic at the same time. But another reason is I would even do this on the front end before you even start renovating your house, because that'll help you determine if it's even worth renovating. Like you might be able to sell it as it is and make more money or about the same amount of money than you're going to net on the back end if you spend the money on the renovations and but sell it for a little more money. Like that delta may not be worth it. Like if you're going to have to spend $20,000 to renovate it, but you're only going to sell it for 25,000 more on the back end, it may not be worth it. It may not be worth the time and effort. That's just the judgment call you'll have to make. Now, usually, if you make the right renovations, then you're going to have much more than a one-to-one price increase. So, like in this example, like that house probably would have sold as is for in the low twos. Um, yeah, in the low twos most likely. And after spending about, I think it was like 25,000 on renovations, it sold for, almost 300. So obviously much better, much better option to put in those renovations and make that much more money on the back end. So anyway, this was just the next step in the process. I hope this is helpful. I'm going to keep sending you these videos, and I think the next one's going to be maybe working with an agent. So talking, I may try to talk to our agent and see, have just like a Q&A session and talk about what you should look for when you're looking to work with an agent. So we'll see you on the next one, and I hope this was helpful. Take care. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. And beyond that, I hope you're starting to see the benefit of renovating your house before you sell it so you can make the most money for it. Now, along with my ebook, I'm going to keep sending you these videos that walk you through the entire process from start to finish so that you can get your house fixed up and sold for top dollar on the market. My goal with these videos is to give you all the information you need so that you can handle the entire process confidently. Now, you might be thinking, Jordan, I totally get the benefit of renovating my house and how it can make the most money for me, but I just don't feel like dealing with all this. I don't want to manage an entire renovation project. I just want a simple solution. And I totally get that. And that's why I wanted to tell you about our Flip for You program. Instead of you having to do all this by yourself, we'll actually flip your house for you. We'll fix it up and then we'll get it sold on the market to a retail buyer who's willing to pay the most for it. And this is a completely done for you solution. We handle the entire thing. So instead of selling as is for cash at a massive discount, you get the profit of a retail sale while still enjoying the simplicity of a cash deal. If you'd like to learn more about it, click the link in the description and book a 30-minute call with me. It's completely free, it's no pressure. We'll talk about your situation. I can give you some pointers on your house, and we'll see if it's the right fit for you. We'll talk soon.